Okay, hello everyone. My name is Lotte. Uh, I'm part from Exporel, a hearing research group at the KU Leuven, and I'm very happy to tell you a little bit more today about a pilot study that I did in the context of my PhD, where we are looking at interpersonal brain and body synchronization in relation or as a measure of listening engagement. And I would like to start off by thanking Holly because you already gave some nice introduction in the topic. So Oh. What? Oh, yep, okay. So to start off, I would like to invite you to have a look at the person on the slide. He's listening to music and he seems to be really enjoying himself. His hand is on his chest, his eyes are closed, and he's smiling. And what he's doing can be called embodied listening. So this is a state in which a person is listening to something or someone else in an engaged and deep manner. And it's typically characterized by being able to fully connect not only to the sound, but also to others. And furthermore, also by losing track of time and by being able to really understand and absorb the message. Keeping this in mind, we defined listening engagement as a state of deep immersion in an auditory stimulus for which speech understanding, motivation, and attention are all prerequisites. From the literature, currently we know that there are only behavioral and subjective measures for listening engagement. So these are based on self-perception questionnaires, so where they basically, or where people basically just evaluate how they experienced listening engagement, or based on how much content they recalled of what they listened to. However, these are of course very subjective to a lot of bias, as well as to the fact that these measures are always measured after listening. So therefore, we believe that having an objective measure based on brain and body signals would be a better option. And so the specific objective measure that we plan to use is one also based on interpersonal synchronization. And what's already been shown in the literature is that when people engage in a shared experience, their brain and body signals will start to synchronize. And within this project, we hypothesized that this shared experience might be modulated by listening engagement. So compare, for example, having a very engaging conversation with a friend to listening to a lecture on a topic that you're maybe not so interested in. So taking these together, we plan to use interpersonal synchronization as a proxy for listening engagement. So specifically for this study, the goal was to objectively measure listening engagement in this way, specifically in diet. So two people listening to a stimulus or an auditory stimulus together, where we specifically manipulate listening engagement. And we hypothesized that when you are listening to something in an engaged manner, you will synchronize more with your partner than when you're listening to something that's not very engaging. And also, we hypothesize also that you will synchronize more with the person that you're listening together with in comparison to other people who may have listened to the same thing but not at the same time. So for this study, for the pilot phase, we recruited 12 normal hearing dyads, so 12 duos. And we had them listen to various auditory stimuli, so an engaging stimulus, a non-engaging control stimulus, and then we also added a second control condition where we distracted the participants while listening with a mental task. And then after each condition, we used a subjective measure where they had to evaluate their self-perceived listening engagement. So the specific physiological measures that we used in this study were EEG and heart rate. And again, like Holly already explained, we are also using intersubject correlations as a proxy for listening engagement. And we will do this both within a diet, so where we will correlate to the brain and body signals of the two people of the same diet, as well as across the group. So where we will correlate the brain and body signals of each person to the brain and body signals of all the other people, and then take the mean of that as a listening engagement measure for that person. So then I will briefly go over some first results. First of all, the subjective measures showed that people subjectively rated the stimuli that we used in a way that we hoped they would. So the engaging stimuli were rated as engaging and vice versa. For the objective results, so these are first the results of, for brain response and for heart rate. And so these plots show synchronization in function of the different conditions. And these plots actually really nicely show that there is more synchronization for engaging stimuli, and then less so for the control conditions, and especially in the EEG or for the brain response, it's really nice that even the distracted condition shows even less synchronization. For the effect of diet, so there, like I already said, we looked at the effect of listening with someone else in the room in comparison to other people who weren't with you in the room. And here the results are a little less clear. For heart rates, we can see that that synchronization with the one person that you were listening with seems to be higher in comparison to the group synchronization. But especially for this, we need more data and better statistical analysis to tease these differences more apart, but I'm very excited to do it in the future. Okay, so to wrap this up, we can conclude that the conditions and the stimuli that we used are feasible to use, as well as the subjective measures, and that they seem valid. We found some first indications for the fact that listening engagement might modulate this interpersonal synchronization. And for the presence of another person, like I said, the results are a little bit difficult at this point, but more to follow soon. So a special thanks to my amazing team, and thank you all for listening.
Questions for Lotte?
Could I just ask what the stimuli were? What was the engaging and non-engaging stimuli?
Yeah, so for the engaging stimuli, we used Flemish podcasts, and especially it was one about a crime thing. So podcasts that were generally really liked in the Flemish population. And then for the non-engaging one, we used recordings of political debates, basically. So it was like a debate of the parliament, so very boring. People didn't like it.
Any other question?
And for the distracted condition, was that the engaging, but they will engage? It was the engaging listening, that story, but then they were distracted.
So we used the non-engaging stimulus for that condition because we really wanted to kind of create an ultimate control condition where they weren't paying attention, but also they weren't listening in an engaged manner, but also not paying attention anymore. And so the task that we gave them was they had to solve riddles while listening.
Yeah, I was just kind of wondering because it would have been, I think, cool if it was the engaging with distraction.
Yeah.
Because then the external stimulus is the same, but then you're kind of changing something, and then if you see the drop in the synchronization, it's kind of can't be really driven by the external. Mm-hmm. But I just wonder, what's the function? I guess we don't know, but your speculation, what's the functional significance of actually synchronizing with someone? Is it kind of to foster understanding, or
you mean what's nice
what might be the functional kind of the role of why do we synchronize in this kind of heart rate and brain?
I think it plays a very essential role in how we communicate. Indeed, also it's been related in the literature to how people recall information, but also how they feel connected to others, and that has a very important impact on how people communicate and just have interactions in general. And for us specifically, we want to relate it in the audiological field and to how people with hearing loss or hearing aids, for example, communicate, because they have a lot of struggles with that. So we hope to improve it, hopefully, with a measure like this.
Okay. Any other question? Has to be quick.
If I got the last attaching to the last comment, it's not a matter of what you do, because actually when you do the other distracting task, you are doing something that is in common to within the diet, right?
Yeah.
It's a matter of what you like to do together. Your control condition has a common task, right?
Yeah, but we made it in a way that they weren't solving the same riddle at the same time, and they were also not doing it together.
Yeah, I was wondering if you need to do something that actually you like, and that's the way in which people synchronize. Just
Yeah. Yeah, the thing I'll keep it very short, but we first used like a mental counting backwards in steps of 7 tasks, but as our stimuli are rather long, it was really, really awful to do. So that's kind of why we went to something that was a little bit more fun to do than just counting. So yeah.